Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to TTTV. This is TTL F1 Season 13, round number 20. That's right, it's the penultimate round of the season, and we are here at the Brazilian Grand Prix at the amazing Interlagos circuit in Sao Paulo. My name is Kieran McGinley. Tej will be here tonight. He is running. He's away at the minute, but rest assured he will be here at some point during the stream tonight. You'll see a big black box on the top left hand side of your screen, and that's probably a good sign that he's just joined the party and the commentary box. So hopefully we'll see him tonight, and hopefully we shall see some fantastic racing. Obviously Interlagos in the calendar for 2019. Maybe not so for 2020 if you've seen the news over the last day or so. It might be moving to Rio. Back to Rio, I should say. Yeah, at a completely new track as well. So it's ambitious to build a track in 8 months. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, here we are at the moment for the Interlagos Grand Prix? Brazilian Grand Prix at Interlagos in Sao Paulo. And if you recognise this circuit, it holds some special memories, including to one very special driver, Ayrton Senna, who once won here in, I believe, 6th gear? Something ridiculous like that. It was either 5th or 6th gear. I know Spike in the chat, if he's here tonight, he'll be able to correct me on that one. But a sensational drive in which he actually passed out on his lap, if you like, collecting the Brazilian flag. Actually passed out from exhaustion on his victory lap. So the amount of effort and the radio transmission between himself and his team is just him yelling, and there's no better radio transmission than that. But it's also had some heartbreak over the years as well. A same Brazilian driver, the driver of Rubens Barrichello, who not once but twice retired from the lead of the race here at this very circuit. It was a cursed circuit for him. He never did well here. In fact, he pretty much always retired from whenever he was driving in a good position, and it was so heartbreaking to see. And a third Brazilian driver who was denied the title in 2008 at the very, very final corner, Felipe Massa, who, well, argue or not, he didn't win the championship, and he was denied on his home turf, I should say, and gave all of his emotions at the podium. But one driver there who loved the Brazilian Grand Prix, that's for sure, was Felipe Massa. 3 great Brazilian drivers spanning basically 3 generations, and what a circuit it holds. It's also held the likes of Brazil. It's also produced the drivers such as Emerson Fittipaldi, Nelson Piquet, Senior, not Junior, not yet anyway. It's also created some great drivers, Bruno Senna as well, hails from Brazil, used to drive in, I believe, it was the 3 teams that came in 2010. Believe it was HRT as well. I think it was HRT, if I remember rightly. Yes, I think it was. Anyway, there you go, Spike then. Senna only had 6th gear for the last few laps. It was a tale of broken gearboxes, yes. And passed out on that very same victory lap. But the Brazilian Grand Prix has definitely held some special memories, wanted and unwanted for some Brazilian drivers. And here we are once again for the penultimate race of TTL. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel down below as we build up to season 14 as well. And we shall hopefully get to that very, very soon. That is going to be on the new game, I believe. I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but I strongly believe the rumours that it's going to be on the new game. I'm not sure how they're going to fit a season in the sort of 3 or 4 weeks that preside it, but there we go. I'm looking forward to this one. It should be a good one. Brazil can deliver and does deliver as well. 13 drivers tonight, which is always great to see, and I'm looking forward to it. Give us a hello in the chat if you're watching this one, and also give us an idea of who you think is going to win tonight's race. It's going to be an interesting one, that is for sure. Moments away then from jumping into the qualifying session here in Brazil, and obviously with me on my own in the commentary box at the moment, it means I do have to try and get the thumbnail up, which is See, the YouTube thing has changed, right? It used to be all in a very good place and everything. Now it's all kind of hidden away, which is very frustrating. But you know, I found it now. That's it. We're through. We're done. Now, let's see what the drivers can do tonight. Thank you everybody for joining us. And it's looking good, I think. I think we're all good to go here in qualifying. And of course, the famous Brazilian Grand Prix. Interlagos, if you're curious, in Portuguese means between the lakes. And you could definitely tell the drivers that. One season, don't quote me on the year, there was a bit of a river running down in towards turn 3, and it caught many drivers out, including Michael Schumacher, who got onto the wet stuff and completely went into the wall. No remorse there. Same fate for Jenson Button as well, and I believe, was that the same race as... Well, I remember 2003 coming towards Jun Sao, and that was the last time I'm going to try and pronounce that name on this stream. Coming towards Jun Sao, you had Mark Webber, who lost it into the barriers, and a safety car was deployed. And then, well, like it or not, when Fernando Alonso came along, did he ignore the yellow flags? Well, maybe. And, well, that meant that he also hit the wall very, very hard there. 2003, there you go. So that was the same year I was thinking of. Excellent. I'm getting a lot of things right and wrong. So it's a typical stream then tonight, as we see Lexus Pursuit head out of the pit lane. We've got no Jack tonight, and I don't know why, but I will try and find a way. But we definitely don't have Ollie with us tonight. He's still suffering from force feedback issues. He's hoping to be back for the season finale, and obviously we were speaking to Spike last time out on Commentator's Corner, and he was saying that he doesn't really want to, you know, gain second place in the championship by someone not being here. He would rather battle them out on track. Had a good opportunity to take maximum points, but had a nightmare race, and held his hands up and said, you know what, I'm sorry, and plough on and take another chance and another race at this one. There he is then on his outlap, which means then it's not going to be Jack taking the first lap. I wonder who it is going to be. I think it's going to be Spike as we head towards the third sector, and it is. So it's going to be a Mercedes then. We're going to ride on board with Spike then as we head up the hill. There you can see the sunshine just poking through the clouds as we make our way now on towards the start finish line. DRS line is just at the pit lane entrance. It's making its way towards the start finish line, up the hill now towards turn 1, which then cambers down and away from you. You can see there, very easy to lock up going through turn 1, then through turn 2, onto the curb then as we head now round the long left-hander of turn 3, down the short straight then, DRS wide open once again, down the hill now towards turn 4. You've got to get your braking absolutely right here, braking just before the 50-metre board, using that curb on the right-hand side as you go through turn 5, and now it's up the hill, very narrow here on the run-up towards turn 6. Sort of a double right-hander now as we head now through turn 7. Use that curb if you want, using the curb on the left-hand side to help the exit. Through turn 8 we go then, and then down the hill through turn 9. Very, very hilly here, lots of undulation to challenge the car. Up the hill now towards turn 10. Good overtaking opportunity here if you can time your move right. Now coming down the hill now and down through turn 11. Watch the back end here, it will like to step out if you set up the car wrong. Now coming down towards turn 12, using that curb on the inside, then on the exit as well as we head up the hill now through turn 13, flying through 14, and then through turn 15, once again through Jun Sao as we head towards the start finish line. What's the lap time going to be like from Spike? He said it on the hardest possible tyre, and it's a 109.2, but it's a lap time that will not count. So after all that then, Spike will go again. There's the first lap time then by Pursuit. It's a 109.3. My apologies, that's on the medium tyre. That's the hardest tyre possible. So you've got the soft tyres, which are the middle range, and you've got the super soft, which are the sort of qualifying tyres for that, the softest tyre. See, I never knew why they didn't come up with a code name for all of these ones. There's Light E there, 107.8. Good to see him back in the Force India on the super soft tyres. I thought they would have come up with some code word. Remember in sort of 2010 when they had that option prime sort of thing going on? That was a good way to differentiate with it. I suppose you could have tyre 1, 2 and 3. That could work. Anyway, I'm talking rubbish again. Someone stop me. Recon then making his way now through turn 8, now down the hill through turn 9. And turn 9 is a really challenging corner as well. It's a good opportunity to try and test the car as best you can, as usually then 110.4. As we now see Recon making his way down the hill through turn 11 and on towards turn 12. Spike there 107.9 on a set of soft tyres. He sets a valid lap time this time around, so Recon then making his way through the final couple of corners. And will he come towards the pit lane? No, he won't. He uses the pit lane as part of the racing line. It's a 108.8 from Recon, and that puts him into third place. Well, pretty much a second away from Light E then. So we've got Yuzi, who set a 110.4 there in the Toro. So Naz a 115.6, which is obviously not a representative lap time from him. Charlie is off the track then, possibly getting out of the way of the Mercedes there of Spike, and that's exactly what happened. Benfica, who missed last round because he, well, forgot. But he's back out on track then as he makes his way through turn 2 and then through turn 3 as well, looking to try and score some more points for Williams then. And it is a chance for all of the drivers to really prove themselves to the teams that are looking for new drivers. Ferrari especially will be on the hunt for new drivers, and I wonder if Red Bull can hold on to Ollie. You know, he's been a really good title contender this season. We know what Tej thinks he wants to happen. He wants Ferrari to sign Ollie as one of their drivers, but we'll have to wait and see, of course, as Benfica makes his way through turn 9. Lots of drivers will be just fighting for their places, and I wonder as well, Renault, I think Renault are pretty likely. Oh, Benfica getting it slightly wrong coming out of turn 10 there as he makes his way through turn 12. He is 3 seconds up on his previous best, so looking at a 109, possibly a 108 as he makes his way towards the line. He could dip into the 107s if he's got the third sector right. Here he comes in towards the start-finish line. It's a 109.0, and that puts him into P5. As you can see now, heading down the hill. And we'll see now if he's, I think he's going to go again. Yeah, he's in mode 5 for the ERS, so he is planning to go again. Alan K then 114.2. Naz has set a faster lap time of 111.4. You've got White out there still trying to set a lap time as he makes his way now up the hill, looking to try and maximise whatever he can out of the Haas. Down the hill through turn 11 and then towards turn 12. As you can see there, he's backing out of it, and you can see there it's a little bit of curving. It looks like grass, but it's actually a little bit of curving if you can get it right. As White now heads up the hill, you can see now ERS all the way up to mode 4. It was in mode 5 for just a split second, as White now makes his way towards the start-finish line. What sort of lap time will he be able to set? He's previously set a 111.9, but that was invalidated, so he's got to go again. And let's see what he can do then, heading his way through turn 3 and making his way now down this short straight all the way to turn 4. Can he get his braking zone right then? Brakes slightly before the 50-metre board. Yep, using that curve on the inside to help the car turn in as he makes his way now up the hill. As I said before, very, very narrow. Very easy to run too wide there. As you see or if you remember, pretty much 10 years ago now, the incident between Adrian Sutil and Jarno Trulli, where Sutil and Trulli got into a bit of trouble. Trulli ran wide onto the grass and basically managed to provide some photos for the press conference in the next round. I remember that one. It also took out Fernando Alonso as Yuzi retires from the session, and that was a big cluster. As I remember that one, I really do remember that one. As I think Jarno Trulli said something like, "I don't think you have eyes if you don't see what's wrong with that," or "I have pictures," and yeah, it's crazy. White then 109.033. Puts himself into 5th place, and on those medium tyres, that's a respectable lap time. More time to extract, of course. Charlie there at 109.6, and he's only 3 tenths off his Alfa Romeo Sauber teammate, and he's on 2-step harder tyres. So that's pretty interesting to see. Charlie here looks like he's got a bit of pace about him today. We'll have to wait and see what sort of lap times he can set on softer tyres. Alan K then 109.9. That's on a set of soft tyres. So usually them setting a 109.8, retiring from the session then. And Spike then is out there on a set of super soft tyres as he makes his way now down towards turn 12. Interesting to see whether he can get a faster lap time than a 107.9. I'm assuming on two-step softer tyres that he, one-step softer tyre that he can. Making his way now towards the DRS zone and towards the start-finish line. What's this lap time going to be from Spike? It's a 107.4. That's just under 4/10 quicker than Lighty then in the Force India. I wonder, can he really make it into the 106s? I do wonder. This is a chance for Spike then to try and grab 25 points, but we've seen really good competitive natures and a competitive streak from Recon, who got tangled up last time out. White as well has also won a race this season, and he'll be looking to try and add to that. You've got Charlie there, who is 8th place at the moment, 1 point this season. However, he is looking to try and score some more points today. White then, who is, I believe, still in the pit lane. And of course got his move over to Haas earlier this season. As Haas signed him up and replaced him. And he currently lies 5th place. We are missing Sean tonight, of course, who scored that podium last time out. And I understand he was very, very happy with that. As Lighty makes his way now around turn 12 and now up the hill. That's the last breaking point for the circuit in towards turn 12. It's flat out the rest of the way. And Lighty now making his way through the final corner, through 15, flat out with the DRS open towards the start-finish line. And he will look to try and set another lap time. So that was a 1:13. As he makes his way down the hill now through the centre S's and towards turn 3. Down the short straight then into the DRS zone. And you can see the Haas there of White just getting out of the way of the Force India then as we make our way down towards turn 4. Going through the left-hander of 5, running the board now with Lighty as he makes his way up the hill towards turn 6. Chucking the car in, maybe getting slightly onto the grass there on the left-hand side. That would have compromised his turn in there. Maybe giving him a little bit more understeer than he wanted. Through turn 9 we go. Entry is downhill, exit is uphill. So the car really misbehaves sometimes, especially if you're on worn tyres. It does like to misbehave through there. Now heading downhill through turn 11. And you can see there on the softest possible tyre, Lighty is flat out through turn 11. Oh, that's an incident there, and that's Naz out. So Lighty then colliding with Naz, who I believe had spun the car around, and Lighty, well, just went into him, really. I don't know whether he expected Naz to ghost there or whatever, but that has cost Naz a chance to compete in qualifying, and Lighty will head back to the pit lane then. No penalty issued by the stewards in the game, so we'll have to see how that happens. Well, Pursuit then in the other Force India, currently in 4th place. I believe he is on an outlap, this looks like. Yeah, this looks like an outlap to me, or either that or it's an abandoned lap. As Pursuit makes his way back towards the pit lane. On the soft tyres, which he hasn't set a lap time on. May's out there, and on his outlap as he makes his way towards the start finish line to begin a flying lap. Makes his way now down towards turn 1, then it is through turn 2, through that long left-hander then of turn 3, and into the DRS zone he goes. Down towards turn 4, good overtaking opportunity here. If you can get it on the inside and get a better exit, you've got a good run up the hill then towards turn 6. Good camera angle that one as the car flies through up the hill now through turn 6 and through turn 7 as we head towards the braking zone of turn 8, and it is down the hill then on entry into turn 9. On the exit it's uphill, up the hill then towards turn 10. Heavy braking zone, good overtaking opportunity here, but you've got to be pretty much side by side to make it work. Then down through turn 11, flat out then from Mays as he makes his way towards turn 12. Heading into sector 3, and then up the hill we go then. Of course, turn 12 being the last braking point of the circuit. It's flat out from here then, as Mays makes his way towards the start finish line. Again, using that pit lane entrance as the racing line. Mays then heading up towards the line. It's 4th place, 108.7 from the Renault driver. And not a bad lap time from him. Plaster then still in the pit lane. And I wonder if we're going to see Plaster at all during this qualifying session. Be interesting to see if he joins the circuit. At the moment though, he's still in the pit lane as Spike then 107.3 going even quicker. And extending his lead Pole position then. Hasn't had a race win this season just yet, and he'll be looking to change that. With no Jack here tonight, no, Ollie out with his wheel. He's got fierce competitiveness from drivers behind. We've already seen White and Recon win races this season. And Spike will feel it probably is a bit long overdue for a race win. As he makes his way now back towards the pit lane, as Mays does the same. Pursuit then out again on another set of soft tyres as he makes his way now towards the start-finish line to start a new flying lap. We shall have to see what he can do then, heading now down towards turn 1. And one interesting battle to watch tonight will be the battle for 6th place in the championship. In fact, 5th place in the championship. You've got White then on 100 points. Siege, who isn't here tonight, on 98. Mays and Lighty tied 7th on 93 points. That is a huge battle to be watching out for. So Lighty will be hoping to get one up on Mays tonight. He currently runs in 2nd place as he makes his way towards the line. Plaster retires from the session without leaving his garage. And Lighty then making his way now onto a flying lap with just over 2.5 minutes left of qualifying. Heading now down the hill through turn 2. And then through turn 3 we go. We ride on board with him as he makes his way down towards turn 4 now. With the DRS wide open as he makes his way now through turn 4. Runs a little bit wide then. Up the hill through turn 5. I wonder if that's enough to invalidate the lap. And it is. So Lighty backs off. And we'll try and cool those tyres. Build up the ERS. And try again. That's the only thing he can do at the moment. Graham then up to 4th place. 108.6 from the Sauber driver. As Mays retires from the session, he feels he's done enough. Pursuit still on a lap then. Looks like he hasn't set a clean lap on those soft tyres just yet. He got Benfica out there on super soft tyres, making his way through turn 11. On the way towards turn 12. Spike still in the pit lane. As now he's making his way out onto track. There's just 90 seconds of the session remaining. That's a Williams there of Recon, I believe that is, leaving the pit lane, and it is on the soft tyre. Lighty then has to try again. This will be his last chance, surely. He won't be able to do 3 laps on those tyres before he sort of shoots a hole in his strategy. Heading down the hill now. In towards turn 3 we go. Benfica making his way out onto track, and already I think he's abandoned the lap. He was on a flying lap. 108.3 is the time as White then heads towards the line. You've got the Pursuit then, 108.1 on soft tyres. Here comes White then to start his flying lap out there. So good lap from Pursuit. He finally set one on those soft tyres. Took him a couple of attempts, but he finally got it. Recon heading up the hill now. Is this going to be an outlap? It is an outlap right now. Spike then making his way onto a flying lap. Lighty making his way through turn 10. Now coming down the hill through turn 11. And on towards turn 12. You can see there that is White, I believe, behind as well. No, White's coming up the hill. So never mind me then. Benfica on the way up the hill as well. Let's have a look at Lighty as he makes his way towards the start-finish line. Can he get any better than Spike's 107.3 as he makes his way towards the line? It was a 107.6, but it is not going to be enough to get changed any position. So he stays in 2nd place. White then making his way now towards turn 12. Recon heading his way through turn 10. Through turn 8 as he now heads through turn 9. Checker flag is of course out as White makes his way towards the line now. He's got a lot of time to find. Can he find it as he makes his way towards the line? It's a 107.601, which puts him ahead of Lighty. Spike then, now it's his turn. Can he extend that lead? Can he get into the 106 as he makes his way towards the start-finish line? 107.017. So close to those 106s, but 0.6 of a second so far. Recon 4th place, 108 exactly on the soft tyres. Great lap time from him. Alan Kay then makes his way towards the line, but he backs out of his lap. He doesn't want to set a faster lap time, so pole position then for Spike, and he'll be wanting to change that into a race win. So then, let's have a look at the qualifying results then from the Brazilian Grand Prix. They'll be on your screen right about now. Spike then grabbing pole position by 0.584 seconds. White is in second with Lighty in third. Recon fourth with Pursuit in fifth. Benfica in sixth. Graham seventh. Mays in eighth. Charlie in ninth with Yuzi. Rounding out the top 10, it's Alan K in 11th. Naz in 12th. And Plaster did not leave his garage. He starts in 13th place. Well, Spike then could be able to grab his first win of the season tonight. And he's in a good position for it as well. He'll have some fierce rivalry with White and Recon for sure. Lighty, watching out for him as well. Pursuit and Recon starting on soft tyres in 4th and 5th place. Worth keeping an eye on them as well throughout the race. If we have a look at the standings then, Ollie is on 238. Spike is on 197. And if you're a mathematician, you'll realise that's 41 points, the gap between them. So let's have a look. The gap now has got to be below 25 points. That's what we have to. Assume then. So if I do some quick maths, then that means that Spike has to score 17 points, which means he has to win the race or finish second to keep that fight for second place alive. The reason he can't draw level with points is because Ollie has 3 race wins this season. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's either 3 or 4. I know that one. Let's just have a quick look at that. So Ollie has 3 race wins this season. And with 2 races left, that means it's not possible for Spike to level on the win. So he's got to outscore Ollie by 16 points tonight. That means he has to finish in first or second place to keep his fight for second place alive, heading towards Abu Dhabi. On to the formation lap we go then. So it is Spike who's going to be leading them through. 36 laps here at the Interlagos track. And heading now down towards turn 1. It's a very short run down towards turn 1. As well as that, you've got to be careful about your braking point as well. First Grand Prix was in 1973. And we have 71 laps in total. Of course, we've narrowed that down to 36 tonight. Circuit length 4.3 kilometres with a race distance of 155 kilometres. Tej has finally joined me in the box all the way on the formation lap. Just a quick word from you, Tej. How much are you looking forward to this one?
Oh, I really am looking forward to it, Q. It's nice to join. Good afternoon, good evening to all our viewers out there. What a fantastic race we have in prospect of Spike in the Sister Mercedes qualifying on the pole position alongside TTG White. You've also got Light and Recon in 12th place. So let's have a good look, watch for Recon, see if he can come through the field and make amends for his race on Tuesday.
Absolutely, and Spike here, it's a good chance for him to grab his first win of the season. Of course, it's a much needed win as well. Very short on the formation lap here as we make our way now around turn 12 and up the hill. Good overtaking opportunities through the centre S's, down towards turn 4 as well with the DRS. You've also got the opportunity in towards turn 8 and turn 10. Turn 12 as well, but you risk losing that back end, and it's all flat out all the way towards turn 1 again as we now make our way towards the grid. TTL F1 is sponsored by WeakWiFiSolutions.com, who also sponsor the Driver Voted Driver of the Day Award. And TTL F1 is also sponsored by A-Logo, who provide all the graphics for the league. They are also sponsoring the fastest lap of the race award then. You can see Plaster in the background just making his way to his grid spot. So it means we're moments away. Is that? That's Alan K making his way to the grid spot, I do believe. So I believe that's the last car now as we make our way towards the Brazilian Grand Prix. Moments away then here for TTL F1 round number 20, the penultimate round of the season, and it's a must win for Spike. Can he convert pole to a win as we count up now towards those 5 red lights here in Sao Paulo? Round 20 is underway, and what are the starts like? Lots of smoke then from the tyres as we make our way down towards turn 1. It's a fantastic start from Spike then. He tries to go around the outside. White then trying to have a look, but he can't quite do it. Fantastic start from Spike. That's exactly what he needed. Have a look at the battle in the background then. That's Charlie trying to make his way through the field. He's going round the outside of Yuzi then as we now head away down towards the short straight. Look at White then trying to put Spike under pressure, heading through turn 4. That's Benfica right on the inside then as he tries to make his way through turn 4. Mays running wide then. That's Naz there running a little bit wide there and getting a little bit of opposite lock then as well, trying to keep control of that car. Spike in the lead then as we head down towards turn number 8. This is through turn 9, and it's a very tricky corner. Cold tyres. Just keep that back end in check on this first lap and you'll be okay for the rest of it. Lighty right behind White then as we head our way through turn 10 and then down the hill through turn 11. We've got Yuzi there trying to fight Nexus Pursuit, but we've also got Naz who crashed out in qualifying, had that incident with Lighty. Now up into the points he goes, up to 10th place he goes, and we've also got battle here for the lead of the race. Then Spike is just trying to run away with it at the moment on those super soft tyres. He starts the second lap of the race then in the lead. White in second, Lighty third with Recon fourth, Graham in fifth, but that looks like Lighty having a move up the inside. He's going to be on the outside for turn 2, but he might try the switch back here in towards turn 3, but he runs wide onto the grass and around he goes. Lighty's into the wall. Loses a huge chunk of front wing then, but not a tyre. That's crucial for him, but he retires altogether. Losing that back end, running wide onto the grass, and that is his day over. He retires from the session, first retirement of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Meanwhile, off screen, Yuzi finds a way past Benfica. Pursuit, meanwhile, runs very wide on the exit of turn 5, and cost himself a position there. That is Naz going straight through. Benfica, by the way, is now in a Toro Rosso sandwich, trying to now go up the inside of Yuzi. He's now around the outside of turn 9, but that just allows Naz to get the better traction. Through he goes. Pursuit then wants to get that position back from the Williams as we head our way through turn 10. And at some point, Tej, I will hand over this mic to you.
Yeah, and you will breathe. No, what a disastrous start it was for the Force Indians. Once again, we've seen so many times this season, Kieran, with the Force Indians, they will qualify really strongly in the early stage of the race. That is when it falls apart. That'll be something they were looking to try and make amends as we go to Abu Dhabi. What we have been star now is that you have TTG Spike with a gap of 1.4. It's very crucial here in Lagos to break the DRS tour as soon as you can. And obviously you've got White, who's only 6 steps ahead of Recon. Recon are obviously on the harder compound, so the tyres are going to come more towards him as the race wears on. We've also got Graham in the Sauber in 4th place, a very strong run from him so far, as well as Mays backing up his form from Tuesday. Naz in the Toro Rosso also been backed up by Uzi, who's on the medium compound. Good strong start so far from the pair in the Toro Rosso. And you also have Fit Benfica returning this week after missing it out in Mexico, running in 8th for the Williams.
Absolutely, he's trying to go up the inside then as we head our way towards turn 8. He'll have the inside line, he'll chuck it in, and that looks like position got for Benfica as he now makes his way up through turn 9, and his next target then is Naz. Watch out for Pursuit as well, who's looking to try and take advantage of the situation. He's on the soft tyres. Meanwhile, Charlie then in 10th, looking to score his 2nd point of the season. Watch out for him as well. He's only 6/10 behind Pursuit then on those medium tyres, so it's a good opportunity for him. As you said, Ben Graham getting a fantastic start, but he finds himself under pressure from Mays.
The possible race change and overtake happening here, Kieran. You have Recon have a look at the inside of White. No, he just doesn't get close enough. The gap is down to 2/10, so it's very crucial for Recon to get past White. Spike will be knowing that they're both fighting behind, and he'll be trying to get the afterburners on, trying to get that Mercedes as far ahead as he can, as Recon goes up the inside and takes P2 away from White. A very crucial move from the Williams driver, but White's going to try and come back up the inside. Very well defended from Recon. Fantastic racing once again from the two drivers in the Williams and the Haas. It's now crucial for Recon to get a move on and try and close that gap, because he is on the harder compound, and one would have to imagine with Spike on the super soft taking as much performance out of him as he is, he could potentially be on the 2-stop.
Yeah, with Lighty's retirement as well, that opens things up for Mays. He's currently running in 4th place at the moment. This is his golden opportunity to try and grab some points over Lighty in that battle. One thing's for sure, that if he gets at least 10th place, he's moving up from 7th place, that's for sure. But now his focus is on White there. 7 points between them. White is currently 3rd place, Mays in 4th. Interesting battle on our hands, but White's turn of form towards the end of this season is hot now as he looks down the inside of Recon, down towards turn 1 with the help of the DRS. A little bit of contact between the two of them as Recon wanted to just steer in there to the corner, was not allowed to by White, and there's a little bit of contact between them, and White spun around. Little bit of contact then, White around in towards turn 3, and now he has the painful decision of waiting for all of those cars to go past. It's going to be a nightmare for him. Pursuit then running alongside with Charlie and Yuzi. They've got to respect those yellow flags. That's opened up an opportunity for Plaza then to try and go down the inside as we head our way down towards turn 4. As he does, he gets up to 9th place. That is Yuzi running wide. Now they're running side by side on the exit of turn 5, on the run up towards turn 6, just about giving each other some room there, as Yuzi really close to that rear tyre of Plaster, heading through turn 7, on the run up towards turn 8. Yuzi has the inside line, Plaster willing to go deep into the corner to get the inside for turn 9, and you'll see here, he'll try and close the door on the exit, and he does do that, up towards turn 10, great vision there from Plaster. He snatches P9 away from a very, very confusing battle there. It looked like Charlie backed off for the yellow flag. In fact, it was Pursuit backed off for the yellow flag. Then it was Charlie who had to react. So did Yuzi. And Plaster just thought, you know what? You've got compromise runs down towards turn 4. I could take advantage of this.
Absolutely fantastic racing once again shown in the TTL F1 group. You have Plaster and Uzi going side by side, a knife in the teeth. Any mistakes there could have been very catastrophic for both drivers. So very well done to both of them. As you have Charlie now in the sister Sauber running in 8th place, trying to bring in the attention of Pursuit. You've also got Mays, as you touched on earlier, Kieran, running very strongly in the Renault, and crucially for Mays, he also has his partner Alan Kay running on the opposite strategy. And unfortunately, Kieran, as I think you're trying to allude to it, we've had another retirement from the top 4. This time it was TTG White. Me personally, I thought that was just a bit of a driving incident between the two of them, but I'm not a steward, so don't really take my opinion. But it was unfortunate that we've lost 2 of the top 4 in this race already.
Yeah, White and Lighty, Mays' 2 main rivals, are out of this race, and this is a perfect opportunity here for Mays to just grab that championship battle with 2 hands here. He's going to overtake Siege and White at the moment, as at the moment he's scoring 15 points, but of course a long, long way to go in this one. After lap 7, it's Spike who leads, Recon 2nd, Mays 3rd, Graham 4th, Naz in 5th, Benfica 6th, Charlie 7th, Pursuit in 8th, UC 9th, Plaster rounding out the top 10. It's Alan Kay in 11th. Remember, he's on those medium tyres.
Graham and Naz battle for 4th. Naz trying to go up the inside. Graham just closes the door. Obviously Naz is going to look to come back at him with the DRS in this straight now, as you have a fantastic helicopter view at the moment. Graham runs himself wide, he comes right across, he's going to send Naz around the outside. If you're going to try and take the position off me, you're going to go the long way, and Naz just drives right round him. Fantastic wheel-to-wheel action here in the TTL F1 group, and Naz moves the Toro Rosso up into 4th place. Fantastic, will be absolutely delighted on the Toro Rosso pit wall.
Charlie and Pursuit then running side by side through turn 5. Fantastic respect between the two of them in towards 7 and then up towards turn 8 now, as Charlie's still looking for a way back through, but Pursuit has that position now and into 7th place he goes. His next focus now is Benfica ahead of him, 4.3 the gap, but he's involved in this 3-car battle here between Naz, Graham and himself. So Naz here hoping to just get away from Graham now, as these super soft tyres might just be going past their sell-by date right now, especially if you've qualified on them.
Yeah, Naz is absolutely perfectly placed, Kieran, as you've alluded to. He's in clean air, he's got both super soft runners behind him. They're both about 8-9 tenths behind him, so they've not really got a chance of DRS on this lap. And obviously the tyres are going to start dying off with performance. As with the first pit stop of the race, Kieran, it's Nexus Pursuit coming in on the softs, surprisingly, so he might have had a bit of wind damage there. So it'd be interesting to see what tyre moves on. He might not be able to get any heat in the tyres, so he might be going for the softer compound, which he is. So it's a change to the super soft. So that just confirms that the Force Indians were planning to do a 2-stop. Been held in the garage at the moment, unfortunately. He might have a penalty there, but as we move on now, we look to the gap between the battle of 4th. You've got the Graham and Benfica going side by side up the hill into turn 5. Into the slow section now. Is Benfica going to try and have a look up the inside? No, he doesn't. He thinks better of it. He must be thinking it's only lap 8 of 36. And there's a lot longer to go in this race, so you don't have to put it the inside. And he must be getting closer and closer. He must be thinking now, as soon as that DRS comes, he just needs to try and get a good run at Graham. Just keep the car nicely positioned. Don't do anything, no rash mistakes, and hopefully he can go for it into turn 1.
Well, you just saw there Benfica going through turn 11. The back end really wanted to step out on him there. Managed to keep it under control. Lost a bit of time to Graham. Still in DRS range though, and you can see now the speed difference between the two cars. Benfica down the inside it goes. Graham does all he possibly can. Will he try now round the outside of turn 1? Benfica tries his best to close the door, and he has done. Through turn 2 and turn 3 he goes. Up to 5th place he goes. Benfica here is having a really good race right now, but look at Graham here, looking to try and get this move back on him down towards turn 4. Benfica is defending as well as he can. Graham goes for the move up the inside. Now running side by side through turn 5 they go. And Benfica finds himself behind once again as they head up the hill towards turn 6. Fantastic battling between the two of them here. And Graham has held on to 5th place here. He knows where to defend and where to attack. and that has helped him hold on to 5th place.
Absolutely, Kieran. Racing Ayrton Senna will be proud of, as you can see, Benfica, and a tribute to Ayrton Senna with his helmet. Talk of licking the stamp, that was more like swallowing the post box. A real brave move from Graham, the utmost confidence in the brakes in that Alfa Romeo Sauber.
I'm going to have to write that one down. That's one I've never heard of before.
Well, you get licking the stamp, don't you? I just felt it was a little bit more extreme than what did I say? What did I say? He's swallowed the post box.
Swallowing the post box. Here comes Benfica. Maybe he'll swallow the post box this time as he makes his way down towards turn 1, using the slipstream as much as he can. Then a little bit of wheel-to-wheel action. Then through turn 1 they go down towards turn 2. Again, great racing between the two of them. Benfica does all he can then to get that position. But once again, Graham has the DRS down towards turn 4. And this time, once again, he has to go around the outside. This time, Benfica has to put him there. That's all he can do. Graham there, maybe getting a compromised exit as we head through turn 5. Up the hill and we go towards turn 6. But this time Graham once again holds on to that position. And Benfica here trying to now go up the inside as we head through turn 7 on a run now down towards turn 8. Again, still side by side, the two of them. And this time Benfica gets the move done. How long he can stay there, I'm not sure, because these two are having a great battle.
Absolute ding and dong, as you said, Kieran. Royal Mail are going to be fine in TTL very soon because they've lost a ton of post boxes in these last few laps in the battle between Graham and Benfica. Absolutely fantastic wheel-to-wheel racing.
Pursuit has retired from the session, and that means both Force Indias have failed to make it to the checkered flag once again. Meanwhile, on board with Naz then as we head down towards turn 1. On the inside of Mays then, as he makes the braking move look very, very easy then. And look at that, parks it on the apex. That's all he needed to do there. And Mays will have the DRS on him though, as Naz will try and make this corner as wide as possible to give him the best run down towards turn 4. Can Mays do anything with the DRS as we head down there? No, he doesn't. He stays back and gets down to 4th place. Meanwhile, Benfica and Graham still battling then as we head towards turn 4. And that's Benfica really slamming the door there. And I'm not sure Graham will be too much of a fan of that, but I'm sure he'll have had plenty of opportunities in this stint to have another go down towards turn 4.
Yeah, I think Benfica decided to put some spikes on his elbows there because he certainly wasn't giving Graham the room. I let him through. He thought, enough of the fun and games. It's been nice, but it's time for me to get on ahead and try and save my race. He's got 4.8 to catch up to Mays, who's currently running really, really strongly in the Renault. Mays obviously the ultimate opportunist almost, Kieran, would you agree? He seems to just trundle along, picking up good solid points, and it's been another fantastic performance so far as we reach a third of the race distance with the Renault driver in 4th place.
Absolutely, he'll want to try and grab 5th place in the championship right now at this race. Benfica then into the pits he comes, and this looks like then it's going to be the one stop. If he goes on to a set of mediums, he'll be able to get them to the end of the race. What will the Williams boys do? They put on a set of soft tyres and away he goes. So soft tyres then, will we be able to make them to the end? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, interesting. Definitely something for Recon to look out for as well as his teammates. See how long he can get out of those tyres, depending how long he can go. I'm sure the Williams pit wall will be communicating between both drivers and both race engineers to try and get optimum performance from Benfica's race as well as Recon. And actually, talking of Recon, the gap has come down from 4.8 to 2.6 in the last 2 laps. So the performance in the softs is definitely coming to fruition as we see TTG Spike struggling somewhat in the car as the tyres, and he just decided to pit. So pitting from the super softs on lap 11, Kieran.
Yeah, it becomes lap 12. He pits in, so that looks like it's going to be a one-stop to make those tyres last 25 laps and be ambitious. But I think that's why we're both in the commentary box.
Yeah.
But medium tyres then.
Medium
tyres for Spike then, so he's definitely going to the end. He'll be able to make those tyres last then through the 24 laps. And away he goes once again. And a very, very tricky pit lane as well. Very easy to get it wrong. Spike then rejoins in 4th place, 4.1 behind Mays. That means he's got a good amount of clear air to make these tyres work, to warm them up as well.
Interesting one coming out up here, Kieran. You've got Benfica coming round turn 2. Graham coming out the pits. Are they going to connect and clash? Because they're having a fantastic race so far. No, they're not. Benfica gets the undercut quite comfortably, you'd have to say. Must be about 3 to 4 seconds ahead of Graham now. So very well done by the Williams garages. Graham's also gone back onto the super soft, so the Sauber team commit themselves to this two-stop in this race as Recon decides to pit. Interesting choice. He is running the soft tyre, so he must be taking a lot of performance out of them in the early goings of this race. So it'll be interesting to see what tyre he does choose to put on. Is he going to go like for like with Spike? Let's find out.
What tyres go on then? Looks like it's going to be super soft tyres. So that's the two-stop. A lot of drivers trying the two-stop, and Spike's out there going for the medium tyres. He says, I'll make the one-stop work, thank you very much. But Spike then, meanwhile, has passed Recon there. Recon just in the picture there, you could see, just coming out of the pit lane now. There he is. So Spike then has actually gained not a lot, actually. He's lost a bit of time, but that's understandable because these medium tyres around a short track like this, it does take a while for those tyres to warm up, at least a lap or two.
Absolutely, Kieran. And very crucially done by both drivers is that the way they pitted as well, they made sure that when they did come back out, they didn't come out stuck behind any cars who potentially they could be battling or squirming with them. So Spike's actually got himself out in clean air, 6 seconds off Naz, who you have to imagine will be pitting very soon on the softs, and also Recon covering off the pit stop of Spike. He's managed to put himself out in a lot stronger position than what he did. You have to speculate that Spike's struggling to get performance in the medium tyres as they just warm up at the moment, as Recon's already closed the gap down to 1.2. So a fascinating stage of the race as we approach lap 15 of 36 with two different compounds between the race leaders.
Benfica here battling away with Mays. Mays has just come out onto a set of medium tyres. That's going to get him to the end of the race then as we head towards turn 12. Mays then has to try and keep Benfica back as much as possible. But look at this, Benfica then going to the left hand side and up the inside. Full throttle now between the two of them as they run now towards the start finish line. And Benfica has the DRS as we make our way towards turn 1. Snatches that racing line back and takes away 8th place from Mays then, running side by side. That DRS really does help, and then Naz has picked up a 3-second time penalty. He's not the first to pick up those penalties, but there's been so much on-track action, Tej, that we haven't been able to keep up with the penalties thus far.
No, we have not. It's been absolutely fantastic. It's been a barnstorming first 16 laps of the race. You can also see that Naz's performance has actually dropped on the soft ski, and the gap has actually come down to 2.8, so it depends how long is he going to stay on his tyres, and will he come into contention with the leaders as we see Recon now 3 tenths behind Spike. It is vitally important for Recon's race that he gets out ahead of Spike as soon as he can, because if Spike's only doing the one stop, Recon's going to have to stop again, so he needs to try and get his gap as wide as he can as Naz does pit. As we have a race lead change, Recon goes right up the inside and cuts right across Spike, which is quite rude to the point there, as he's going to try and run away now on the super soft. So a move for the lead under those circumstances. Kieran, what do you make of that?
Well, it's a move that I don't think Spike was too willing to contest, to be honest with you, as he knows Recon has to stop again. He's seen that he's on the super soft tyres and decided to let him go, because these tyres, they'll give you the performance around this track for 5 or 6 laps, and then it's just trying to nurse them to that pit window. He's got to do, I believe it's 14 laps on these super soft tyres if he wants to make this 2-stop work with 2 super soft stints. So this is crucial now for Recon. He's got to get that balance between performance and preservation.
No, absolutely. And like we touched on Tuesday, Kieran, until his race was cruelly taken away from him with an incident with Siege in the Red Bull, where the eyes of the big teams would be on the Williams driver for a potential drive next season, and he could add to his credentials of a good solid result here in the penultimate round of the TTL F1. A little quick word there for Alan Kay in the sister Renault. He's running very strongly on the medium tyres so far. He's not stopped. He's managing to stay 0.2 of a second ahead of Benfica, doing his teammate Mays a favour by keeping his potential rival for this race behind him. So TTG Alan Kay running very strongly at the moment.
Absolutely, he's doing his best to defend then, but Benfica has the DRS as we make our way now towards turn 1. Fantastic helicopter shot here as we make our way down towards turn 1. Benfica on the outside, then you can see Alan Kay locking up a little bit there, but Benfica has the move done through the centre S's, through turn 3 he goes, and that is Mays then looking for a move around the outside then. 2 teammates running side by side. I don't think Alan Kay is going to make too much of a battle out of this one as they make their way now down towards turn 4. I'll tell you what though, he's still on the inside there, but then again he does let Mays go, and that looks like it's a strategic call there. Mays, who has stopped, gets past Alan Kay, who hasn't.
Absolutely, the call was made. Cyril Abitable was saying to Alan, don't hold Mays up. He's on for a good strong position, good strong points finish so far, and we don't want to interfere with our race driver. So the call was made from the Renault team, and Benfica is looking to try and catch up to the one stop in Naz so far on the medium tyres. The gap is now down to 4.4. Nice recovery drive so far as well, Kieran, from TTG Plaster. We saw him at the back of the grid in the early stages of the race. He's managed to get 16 laps out of the soft tyres. As we see the back of Benfica's car sliding everywhere, so he might just be struggling with the performance in the tyres, just getting the heat in them in this stage of the race.
Lap 18 then, not quite the halfway point so far. Recon leads though. The gap's only 1.2 seconds. Recon's not getting away as quickly as he'd like. This first stint is crucial because it really compounds of the second stint. Yes, you're going to have better tyres at the second stint as well, but on the other hand, you want to make this stint work as well, because otherwise, that second stint, you're just going to mount all that pressure on that second stint and you're going to burn out the tyres. So Recon really needs to build this gap as much as he can now to help him in his third stint in this race.
Absolutely, you have to remember as well, Kieran, that third stint of the race is probably going to be on the soft, so the actual performance of the super soft so far is not going to be. It doesn't bode well for moving into the harder compound in the third stage of the race, so he really does need to try and get some more performance out of these tyres and try and kick on and get the gap higher up, because you also got Charlie and Plaster who could be brought into contention later on in the race if obviously Recon, well, he does eventually have to pit again. So interesting strategy call from Claire Williams in the garage. It looks rather anxious at the moment, and rightly so. The driver could be having a bit of a struggle come the third part of the race.
Yuzi and Graham then battling for position as Yuzi goes to the inside line then, as Yuzi has the DRS then, and through he goes then. Graham wanting to try, and Charlie's out of the race, and he's off at turn 5 on the exit there on the right hand side. So the Sauber then must have just lost that back end completely, and he is out of this race, running as well as high as he was. He'd only scored a point this season. He had really strong pace, but unfortunately for him, his race is over, and that's that. He'll be really frustrated with that one, that's for sure.
No, absolutely, it's a shame that, especially when you've been on the harder compound for at least half the race. You've done the hard work, you've got yourself in contention, and for his race to just fall apart for him is very unfortunate. But a good strong showing from the Sauber driver. We'll be looking forward to the race finale in Abu Dhabi on Tuesday.
Absolutely, and I think that's him in the YouTube chat there saying it's such a stupid place to crash. And that's Graham there running a little bit wide on the exit of turn 12, now running up the hill to Jumsal. And I will stop doing that because my Portuguese is absolutely atrocious. But we'll just call that the triple left-hander if we like. We're riding on board with Graham then as we head our way down towards turn 1. 20 laps so far. We have 17 to go in this one, and it is Recon in the lead, 2.1 the gap. Meanwhile, Mays and Benfica have caught up to each other once again. Benfica on these soft tyres then hasn't quite got the pace he wanted to try and get away from Mays here, and Mays on these medium tyres, well, he's looking like he's got good pace on them.
Oh, absolutely. He's managed to catch back up to Benfica. He's not going to let him run away. He's going to put a fight up, especially on the harder compound. Potentially, Kieran, you have to say, this phase of the race, the medium tyres look like the tyre to be on. And just before I hand the microphone back over to you, what a performance it's been so far from TTG Plaster. He's actually gone more than half the race on the soft tyres, so he could potentially be trying to stretch this stint out to the super softs. And as I say that, he decides to pit. So let's see what tyres he goes on for the remaining 15 laps. I imagine he'll have to go to the mediums. So an interesting call. But he's managed to do well to drag this strategy out as long as he has.
Let's see what tyres go on then on the Ferrari car. It is the Red Bull super soft tyres. So he's got 16 laps to do on those super soft tyres. Big ask there. I wonder if he can make it work.
Yeah. Really interesting. Yeah.
So Recon leading. Sorry, you were going to say.
No, I was just going to say we just saw Graham go through. That's all I was going to say.
So Graham through then up to 7th place he goes. Alan Kay into the pits, and he comes back out on a set of soft tyres. We all know Alan Kay now. We all know he can keep his tyres towards the end. He was telling us that he was going to do that one stop. That was always on the cards. More aggressive one stop. He's able to save his tyres. 15.9 now, the gap between himself and Plaster. And it'd be interesting to see then, can Plaster make those tyres last?
Yeah, fantastic call from the Renault team, and obviously you have to commend Alan Kay for a very strong run on the first phase of the race on the medium tyres. If you look at the gap towards at least the four drivers ahead of him, it's all very much opening up for him, especially with you have to consider they all have to pit again. So Alan Kay playing himself into contention, and could be another strong result for the Renault team, who over the more recent races they've come together. They've managed to get a lot of good double points finishes. And obviously May's leading the way in 5th place at the moment, putting up a fight to Benfica, so going very well so far, the Renault pairing.
Plaster and Graham then heading through turn 3 and on the run now down towards turn 4. Plaster will have the DRS, he'll have the slipstream too. Graham defends the inside line. Plaster has to go around the outside then. As we make our way now through turn 4, then through turn 5, up the hill through turn 6. Very, very difficult to make a move here. You can see there Graham just really placing his car in the middle of the track. There's nowhere for Plaster to go. It's that narrow and the cars are so wide that there's no real way through in towards turn 6 there. So it's a good opportunity there for Graham to just plant his car in the middle there as Plaster looking to try and get the better exit. And you can actually see there Graham on the left hand side of his front wing, there's damage, so he is struggling out there. Plaster now running alongside then through turn 11 they go, tried to make it work around the outside. You can see how much Graham is struggling with the understeer through turn 11. Through turn 12 they go, and now Plaster has some DRS. He's much closer to Graham than he was a lap ago. With the slipstream then, with the DRS, can he get this pass, or can he get this move done then? In towards the DRS zone we go, heading towards turn 1. Graham on the inside line, Plaster on the outside line, heading towards turn 1 here. And Graham there does his best to try and defend. He's got a wounded car here. He's doing his best to try and hold on to 7th place for as long as he possibly can. And this is only going to frustrate Plaster more and more then. Heading now down towards turn 4. Remember, Plaster has to make these tyres last as well. There's no point battling. He goes for it again. He goes for a dummy. Down towards turn 4. Graham here tries to recover through turn 5 onto the grass. Has to back out of it. Well, Plaster there with a dummy in the braking zone. He broke earlier and then just let the foot off the brake and brake later again. Fantastic driving from Plaster. Graham then running a little bit too deep in towards turn 8 then. And he's lost that position and, well, he's lost that defensive manoeuvres that he was trying, and you can clearly see the damage to that front wing. He's nursing that damage. He knew he had to keep Plaster behind him for as long as he possibly could. And there you go, through turn 11. The amount of understeer he's got at the moment is going to be, well, pretty horrifying for him. He'll struggle more and more with the tyre wear as well, as he's putting those front tyres under a lot more pressure.
Yeah, very good dialed in move from Plaster. You obviously noticed the last few laps is that Graham has been trying to send him round the outside, and Plaster thought, you've done that a few times, I'm going to try and catch you, I'm going to surprise you. And sometimes you have to do that, Kieran. You know yourself as a racing driver, sometimes when you're being defended against by someone, sometimes you do have to try and catch them out, try and just float up the inside corner. They might not be expecting it, or change strategy, and obviously that paid dividends to Plaster in the Ferrari.
Recon in the pits then with 13 laps to go, now 12 laps to go. So Recon then will be going on to a new set of super soft tyres. Naz 28.8 behind, so Recon should rejoin in 2nd place once again as he makes his way now down the pit lane. And the Williams crew is mid-range in the pit lane as we head now down the hill. We've got yellow flags in sector 3, not sure what that's all about.
Can't see anyone.
It's,
oh, there we are. It's Naz.
Yeah, Naz in trouble then. So I just said that Recon would rejoin in front. He has clear air, very much so. And Benfica now up to 3rd place he goes.
Yeah, fantastic recovery drive so far from Benfica. Unfortunately, though, you have to imagine with 11 laps to go, 13 laps on the soft tyres, he will have to pit again. So he could find himself tumbling down the order, playing into the hands of Naz and Mains, who are looking to do the one stop. Touch on this most recent pit stop from Recon. I'm very surprised that he's gone back on the super soft, Kieran. I have to imagine that you will be as well, because he wasn't really getting the adequate performance you'd require to at least take these tyres to the end, especially in the 2nd phase of the race. It wasn't really opening up the gap to Spike, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays off, and it could be something to ask as we approach commentator's corner at the end of the race.
Well, the thing is now he's got a lighter car than he had 12 laps ago. He might be able to make those tyres work a little bit better on a lighter car, a lighter fuel load as well. and we'll have to see how much that gap can come down. 11 laps to go then. Spike has a 16.2 second lead over Recon. You can do the maths. He's got to do over a second a lap better than Spike consistently over those laps to catch him. Passing him though is a completely different matter.
Yeah, the gap obviously come down to 15.9. Just don't know. I just don't think with those tyres, you have to imagine with how quick the super softs do go off as we come to about lap 34, lap 35. It could come into could be decided to go off the cliff, but we'll see when we get to that. Obviously, that's just me speculating, like we touched on earlier. That's why I'm here commentating and not racing. As we see, unfortunately, Graham has now been lapped. You obviously noticed earlier on in the race that he did have a bit of wing damage as he put up a defence to Plaster. Plaster running very strongly so far in 6th place. Unfortunately, we have to speculate that he will have to pit again. He did a fantastic first stint on the race, getting 21 laps out of the soft tyres. As we see Benfica pitting for the second time in the race, Kieran. So I'm wondering if the Williams just split strategy and decided to both move on to a 2-stop. As you can see, he's come out on the super soft, Kieran.
Yeah, that should, well, it will definitely get him to the end of the race. But at the moment then, down in 7th place, he's got a job on his hands then to catch Plaster and pass him. Then it's Yuzi ahead of him. So he's got 11 seconds before he even reaches Mays in 4th place. And that's really where he was battling before. Hill he goes then, lap 27, and Spike still in the lead. The gap between himself and Recon is 14.1 seconds, and Spike makes his way through turn 11 and on towards turn 12. Spike will need this win. It will be a much needed win if he can get it to the line now with 10 laps to go. It will soon be 9 laps to go as he makes his way now through turn 14 and then through turn 15. You can see there the fuel light on Spike's dashboard is flashing up yellow and then not. And that means that he's just about on the borderline of making it to the end of the race on the current fuel settings. So that means he's having to do a little bit of fuel saving, but not too much though.
Yeah, very crucial at this phase of the race, that Kieran, especially you know, when you're battling for the lead. You want to make sure you've got enough fuel to at least be able to put a good lap in to try and stretch the gap, maintain the gap. And we've also just lost Naz. It's
virtual safety car
wide.
Virtual safety car deployed then, and Naz is out of this race. So all the cars have to follow a delta as they make their way around the track. So Naz then turned 12. I don't know if you saw that, Tej.
Yeah, because I've been on board with Mays for the last lap. I was going to comment there just as how well Mays has been managing his ERS, and I was comparing it to Naz, who actually had a bit of a red light flash in his fuel light, and he had his ERS in level 1. But what he did, he's a left-hander. For some reason, the car just went totally right. I wonder if he must have slipped somewhere, but unfortunately for Naz, lets him out the race, running from a very strong third position. As we see, Mays decides to take this virtual safety car as a chance to stop. Also does Uzi in the Toro Rosso, so this is come to save a few drivers' races. You have to say, Mays now, interesting to come in on the to change to a set of super soft. He's running really strongly on the one-stop tyre, so interesting strategy there. Unfortunately though, this could cost Alan, because Alan, doing his one-stop strategy, he was looking like he was on to try and catch the likes of Uzi. Unfortunately for Alan, with the virtual safety car coming out, it's meant Uzi's managed to get a free pit stop, and he's going to be on the fresher tyres to the end of the race.
Benfica here has a chance to try and grab a podium, and both Williams could be on the podium for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Mays then, I'm not sure if he should have pitted here. But he's now 7.6 behind Benfica. It could prove me wrong. He definitely has done in the past, that's for sure, as he makes his way through turn 11, now towards turn 12. And, well, virtual safety car, of course, not the same as the physical safety car. It's not that free pit stop everybody thinks it is. Because it can be...
No, that's it. But it can make or break your race if not used properly. I mean, it's... me personally, and I think you're just alluding to it, Kieran, there, was that I think it might be just the wrong strategy potentially from the Renault team to bring Mays in, because he's running really strongly. I'm sure you'll agree, Kieran, that just doing the one stop, he had a substantial gap to Benfica and it wasn't really coming down. So as we see Benfica now moving past Plaster, I just missed that, I think it was around turn 4, and this is if Benfica on the freshest set of tyres just going to run away from Plaster. I think Plaster will have to pit again, so Mays will at least catch up to 4th place and take that position back.
7 laps to go and Spike in the lead of this one. 8.3 the gap is right now. Recon's doing all he can as he makes way through turn 5 now. Meanwhile, Plaster looking like he's falling away quite rapidly there from Benfica. That just shows you those 8-lap old super soft tyres are starting to not serve Plaster too well. Then Mays heading up the hill now and up through the final couple of corners. 6.2 the gap between himself and Plaster. I wonder if the Renault crew have seen how many penalties Benfica has. I know he has at least one, and Mays hasn't had any this race. I wonder if that's the swaying factor that made Renault pit him in.
Potentially, Kieran. I'm not privy to whether or not the Renault drivers follow the stream, because obviously the stream is where the penalties come up. So if they are in the know, with the knowledge of that, you can actually understand why they would have brought him in there. So interesting. It might be an interesting call to make, especially with only 6-7 laps to go. But interestingly now, Recon's actually brought the gap down to 7.8. Interesting though, Kieran. Will it begin to stabilise once Spike starts to get the performance in the medium tyres, once he starts going through the ARS levels? Is he just waiting for it to come down so far and then he's going to look to try and defend? Because obviously we've only got 5 laps to go. The gap's down to 7.6, so we could be in for a grandstand finale here at the circuit Interlagos.
Well, Spike is doing all he can as well. He's managing these tyres. 7.6 the gap is right now. As he's managing his ERS, managing the fuel as well. Recon has to do a bit of ERS saving as well. Battery down to 35%. Good for, you know, maybe a quarter, maybe just more of pure overtake and hot lap mode. But no more than that. And Recon really trying to use this ERS to catch up to Spike and worry about saving later, as Mays actually does pick up a 3-second time penalty now. That is not what he needed at all.
No, a bit of a kick in the chuff that, unfortunately for Mays. He was catching Plaster substantially these last few laps, and unfortunately the gap that he was closing down the last few laps has all just been added back on. So 3 seconds on the Mays' finishing time.
So that's 32 out of 36 means we have 5 laps to go. Spike leading the race with Recon in second, Benfica in third. That's a Williams 2-3, which will be paid dividends for them in the end. Plaster is in 4th place right now. Mays is in 5th with UC in 6th. Alan Kay in 7th. Graham is in 8th place. As it stands then, Spike will cut this gap down to, I believe, let me work this out, I believe it'll be... oh goodness, now I have to do some maths, I do apologise. The gap will then, 16. There'll be 16 points between himself and Ollie in the fight for second place. So he'll give himself an outside chance, that's for sure, as he makes his way now through the final couple of corners. And he will start lap 33 in the lead. Gap is 6.7 at the moment. Recon is not closing that gap enough to maybe even worry Spike at the moment. 4 laps to go here at Interlagos, and Yuzi's now out of the race. Yuzi out of the race then, and whereabouts is that, I wonder? He was chasing Mays and must have just made that mistake. Let's see where this is. We've got the yellow flag starting. Oh, that's a very odd place to lose it.
Where?
On the straight, coming down towards turn 4. Very peculiar there.
Yeah, Recon had to get out of that. It was looking like he was going down there, and obviously the way the car was parked up, it began to ghost jet, and Recon had to swerve around it. But like you say, Kieran, a very unusual place for the car to go, and a bit of a, it's not exactly commentator's curse, but I did touch on early on in the race just how well the 2 Toro Rossos were running, and unfortunately, Kieran, lap 33 of 36, Uzi joins his teammate Naz in the shed, both retirements, as well as those two. We've also lost Charlie in the Sauber, Nexus in the Force India, TTG White in the Soul Haas today with Sean not racing, and like E34 who we lost on the second lap of the race.
It is still 4 laps to go, soon to be 3. There it is, lap 34 started by Spike again, 6.3 the gap at the moment. Benfica, meanwhile, seems to be struggling a little bit out there. He's not opened up this gap to Plaster as much as he'd like, and Plaster here on 12 lap old super soft tyres is making these tyres work. Well, he has to commit now, he has to stay out there. If he pits in, he loses a substantial amount of time. That could put him behind Alan Kay in 6th place there. So now he's just got to focus on getting those tyres to the end. That's the best strategy he's got right now, and so far it's working. But he's got Mays behind him, 1.1 the gap. Mays will be eager to take that 4th place away and score those vital 12 points and put one hand on that 5th place finish in the championship.
No, absolutely key on it. I have to say as well, a lot of the drivers that I've noticed in these last few races, and I hope you don't mind me saying, it just seems to be consistency is the key. You've had a lot of drivers who they've qualified well, they race well. There's some fantastic drivers here, but you've had some needless retirements, which is unfortunate because all they're going to do is cost themselves and the constructors. And you take someone like Mays, who is just drums in the laps, he just lap, and he does get strong results. So that's something some of the drivers should aim to prosper to do for next season. Cut down on the retirements and back up the form, because there's a lot of good quality races in this championship, Kieran, and it's unfortunate that we lose so many of them due to silly mistakes at some points during the race. So that'll be something to look towards for next year, and obviously for the final race in Abu Dhabi, I'm sure there'll be a lot of drivers looking to use the last race of the season as a benchmark to say, right, I'm going to start my next season off now. I'm going to need a strong performance at Abu Dhabi, just to have a little bit of a launch pad going into next season, obviously with the eyes of the big teams looking at some of the drivers to see who they want to pick up. So consistency is going to definitely be a key with regards to being a characteristic to being a good quality driver in the coming seasons.
Mays is really pushing now, 1.7 the gap between himself and Benfica. We saw the move around the outside from Mays, and there you can see he's there. You can definitely see him. He's got 2 laps here to try and catch and pass Benfica to try and get a podium here, and Mays will be really looking forward to that one. Here comes Spike then on towards the start finish straight to start the final lap here of the Brazilian Grand Prix. And well, what else can you say other than the one stop seemed to be the quickest strategy? Recon tried something different. He's currently 5.5 seconds behind. He tried that soft to super soft to super soft, and there you can see him just at the beginning of the short straight down towards turn 4. He's given it a good shot, the best he could. At the moment though, Spike leading this one, 25 valuable points in his battle and late battle for 2nd place in the championship against Ollie. And as it stands, the gap will be 16 points between the two of them. That is if Ollie comes back to race the last race of the season with his force feedback issues on his wheel. Completely capitulated at round 16 and has missed races since then, or round 17 I believe it was. And it's completely ruined his chances there. But Spike now making his way up the hill. Believe it or not, this could be his first race win of the season. It's been long waiting for Spike here, but he makes his way towards the start-finish line. It's Spike for Mercedes. He wins in Brazil for his first race win of the season. Much needed for him. Recon comes across the line. He will take 2nd place. It's Benfica who's coming around up the hill now towards turn... So that's turn 6, I believe. That's how far behind Benfica was. So this is the battle for 3rd place now. Graham retires on the last lap. He doesn't make it to the checkered flag. That means he doesn't score those points. Alan Kay then is the last of the finishers right now. 6th place for him in a decent result. But Benfica and Mays still battling here. 1.5 the gap. But this could be decided on penalties then. Benfica on the run now, down towards turn 12. There is where Graham lost the car completely. In towards turn 12. Benfica now heading up the hill. Can he score that podium? Has his penalties cost him as he makes his way now towards the start-finish line? He will cross the line in 3rd place. But what will Mays do here? He doesn't jump him. Mays stays 4th then. They had the same penalties in the end. But Spike then taking a much needed win. A return to form for Spike. He wins the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Yeah, fantastic news for Spike. He's obviously seen his teammate win the majority of the races this season, so he deserves his day in the sun. I'm sure himself and the Mercedes team will be very happy. He's come here this weekend being the sole Mercedes driver, and he's not let his team down. So a fantastic race from Spike, and congratulations on the race win. And also congratulations to the Williams team, a double podium finish. Another good, solid, strong performance from Recon as he backs up his form from winning the Japanese Grand Prix last week.
Yeah, you just saw the cut of the Mercedes crew then, maybe looking at the two Williams drivers with eager eyes. You never know in this transfer market. It's a crazy one, but the official, unofficial results from the Brazilian Grand Prix. Spike with his first race win of the season in the penultimate race. Recon in second with Benfica third. Mays in fourth. Fantastic for him. He now takes fifth place away and leads that gap between, I believe it's Lighty now, by 5 points heading into the last round. Plaster in fifth. Great race for him. He gets 10 points added to his tally there. Alan Kay in sixth, the last of the finishers. Graham then, unfortunate for him, he will not collect those points. He didn't make it to the checkered flag, so that's 6 points gone for him. Yuzi, Naz, Charlie, Pursuit, White and Lighty all not finishing this race. And, well, both Force Indias out another time this time around. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in the Force India debrief room, that's for sure. It's another double DNF.
No, absolutely not. I imagine that Zaf now will be a lot more ready than what he normally does look on most race weekends. But I have to quickly touch on this, Kieran. I think fantastic performance from TTG Plaster. We both know just how much pressure the Ferrari drivers are under, representing the Scuderia and the Scarlet Red. But it was a good, strong performance from Plaster. And for me personally, that is my driver of the day.
Well, we shall see what the drivers make of that as well as we make our way back towards the lobby. Not everyone's back yet, that's why it looks a little weird, but there we go then. Commentators Corner coming up then. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel as well. Hit the notification bell so you're notified when we go live, which will be in a couple of minutes actually for Commentators Corner. Tej and I will see you after this short break. Don't go away from the channel.